What's up, y'all? Thanks for tuning in to Fan Culture. We got the 11th episode now. Myself, we got Brandon, we got Sekani here.
It's really 11 episodes already?
Yeah, 11 episodes.
Wow.
What's up, y'all?
Wow. What's good, Sekani?
We got a lot to get into. It's been a heck of a weekend in sports, and really everything we got is about the NBA, because the NBA, even in the off season, it seems like it gets more interesting in the off season.
It does, because you have more time to pay attention to like more of the front office stuff, I guess, as opposed to like the actual games,
Right.
which are only scheduled certain nights. I don't know. It's drama, but I mean, I don't know who to trust. Like, everybody's an expert nowadays.
Oh yeah, no, of course. There's a lot of reports out there, a lot of smoke screens, but we'll talk about some of it as we move forward. So first things first, let's talk about the biggest offseason move so far. Harrison Barnes has declined his player option for next season.
Wait, who? I know who Harrison Barnes is,
Right,
but
right.
that's the biggest news?
Nah. Obviously, we got to start with the Anthony Davis trade. The by far biggest news. The shoe we've been waiting. The shoe we've been waiting on to drop this whole entire time.
The tables have definitely turned.
Yeah. So now
LA.
exactly. So now we know what's going to happen moving forward. If you've been living under a rock, if you don't know, the Lakers and Pelicans have finally agreed to a trade. Anthony Davis going to the Lakers, going back to the Pelicans, Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, Josh Hart, and 3 first-round picks, including the 4th overall pick in Thursday's draft. Do y'all feel like that was too much to give up?
High key, yes. And we knew what it would take to get him there. Everybody knew they would have to take most of the like younger core and some picks to get it done. But I mean, what you're looking at is an already developed player who's also still still young, and barring no injury, being paired with one of the greatest players to ever play the game. Still, I mean, people say LeBron's not in his prime anymore. It doesn't matter. If he can still score, I mean, if LeBron scored...
There's no evidence that he's not out of his prime right now yet. He's averages 27.
Right, he had a groin injury. How long did his groin injury keep him out?
He missed 19 games.
Okay. So...
For the first time in his career, so therefore he's no longer in his prime.
LeBron takes very good care of his body. And I heard earlier today what he'll be able to teach Anthony Davis about keeping his body healthy and just different methods like that. And it could shape up to be some of the best closeout years of LeBron, because, I mean, wasn't Anthony Davis the youngest player on the USA team when he was fresh out of Kentucky? Or
Yeah, 19 years old.
And I didn't know he'd shape out to be the kind of player he is. But to me, he's top 3 big man, if not the best big man in the league as far as doing everything on the floor. It's going to be interesting to see. It really is.
Oh, no, for sure. Sekani, you feel like the Lakers gave up too much?
Not necessarily, but I do feel like Pelicans got set up for the future, and the Lakers are set up for right now, so it makes sense where both teams are at. You saw, I mean, the Lakers don't have first-round picks for the next 3 years.
I got a question for this year, though. Do y'all think that they're going to keep the first pick, or do you think they're going to trade it away? Or do you think they're going to draft Zion and then auction him off to it sounds bad, I hate to say auction, but basically say who won him?
No, they're keeping Zion. Without a doubt, they're building around Zion.
They're building around Zion.
Oh, yeah. No, without a doubt.
So he's their new LeBron.
I mean, he's their franchise player. I mean, he's their they're going to build around him.
Who's their current best player? J.R. Smith?
Wait, who? The Pelicans?
I'm tripping. I'm thinking about Cleveland.
They got Drew Holiday. Drew Holiday's their best player.
Drew Holiday.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, they're going to build around Zion. I don't think there's any doubt about that. The 4th pick, I don't know how high they are on some of these other players in the draft. There's a couple quality picks that I could see them going with, either whether Jarrett Culver out of Texas Tech, even DeAndre Hunter coming out of Virginia. I don't really see like a Darius Garland or anyone like that that's going to be in that 4, 5, 6 range.
You know who nobody's talking about? RJ Barrett.
It's pretty much set in stone. He's going to the Knicks.
So RJ's gonna be with who? Kevin Knox.
Yeah, Mitchell Robinson. That's all they have.
And Dennis.
Yeah, and Dennis Smith.
Jr.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty.
That's not bad.
That's pretty set in stone. He made it clear he wants to be in New York. The Grizzlies have made it fairly clear that they're looking at Ja Morant. That's who they have their idea of picking. So I mean, it's pretty set in stone. I've heard.
I wonder how Mike Conley feels about that.
It's whatever. I mean, it's time to move on from Memphis. I've
It is.
seen rumors that the Jazz are front runners to land Mike Conley, which would be interesting.
Do you think that would just be to groom Donovan Mitchell, I guess?
No, different position. It's just build around that backcourt. Mike Conley's only 30, 31 years old. You can still get a few quality years out of him.
That's true. If you can keep him on the court, but it's going to be interesting in LA. First of all, did we choose the right people to trade? We kept Kuz.
Yes, you did choose the right people to trade. Absolutely. I mentioned this to you, Brandon. That like I don't know if you knew this, Sid, but the Lakers haven't kept one of their first round draft picks since buying them for over their rookie contract.
Yeah. No, I knew that. I noticed that.
Lonzo's game being what I feel like I would love to see Lonzo and AD together. I'm not even gonna lie. The Pelicans now have a very great backcourt and very great defensive backcourt as well. And Lonzo and Holiday.
Well,
yeah.
Zion. Well, people saying Zion and Lonzo. If they keep,
obviously that's gonna be amazing.
I mean, is that the new Lob City?
No, not yet.
No, I mean they're still gonna have some grooming and everything to do because
they're all young.
Because let's be
real. How old isn't the oldest one Brandon Ingram?
Yeah, 22 years old. Well, actually no, Josh Hart's the oldest because he played 4 years.
Oh, Josh is what, 26?
He's like 23,
25,
23, 24.
23?
Yeah.
Right.
So I mean he's the oldest from that group. But let's be real, and I was telling this to someone earlier. I said I feel like the Lakers are the first franchise in NBA history to be running two teams, because you got the Lakers B squad on the Pelicans right now. Even if you include Julius Randle, I know he opted out of his contract, but
that's crazy.
They got pretty much a full starting lineup of Lakers. Basically, and you cut the actual Lakers.
Wow.
But
you're welcome, New Orleans.
Yeah, but to answer your question from earlier, I feel like the Lakers didn't give up too much, and the reason being is because They kept Kyle Kuzma, which they should honestly thank the Boston Celtics, because the Celtics didn't want to include Jason Tatum in any trades. So once Jason Tatum's not on the board anymore, the Lakers have the best offer by far, without a doubt. So they were able to keep Kyle Kuzma as a result. But the Lakers were very desperate this year, and I don't mind them giving everything up or giving a lot up to get Anthony Davis, because they were at risk of striking out in free agency for really a third big summer. There's no guarantee they were going to get Kawhi. No guarantee they were going to get Kyrie, Jimmy Butler, Kemba. LeBron could have been by himself if they didn't get AD. So AD is their free agent acquisition. And so giving up, most of their core. The first round picks I'm not really tripping off of. Obviously the fourth pick is a big deal. Yeah. But the two future picks, you're expected to be in the finals. So those are going to be 28, 29, 30th overall pick. All right, unless you draft Kyle Kuzma out of that.
But what I really want to kind of like unpack is just the timing of it all is crazy, because imagine we made the deal before what went down in Golden State. Golden State lost the finals, right?
Yeah.
They didn't just lose; they lost two of their best players
for next season.
So it completely changed the landscape of free agency.
It's wide open now,
and the West is completely different now with the addition of AD, and that timing of it makes LA look better than as opposed to like feeling like pressured into like a deal they wanted to make, but to the public eye it looked like they were forced to make.
I feel like they were going to make it anyway, because they knew this summer was a big summer and you need to make your moves before the draft, because that fourth pick was one of the most valuable assets they had. So you have to make a move before the draft, period. And this was really the only trade move that they could make outside of Bradley Beal. But why aren't you going to swing for the fences for AD, especially once Jason Tatum's not on the board anymore for the Celtics offer?
The only thing that would have made the deal more balanced to me is if we would have had a pick higher than 4. So if we had 3, 2, if we had the number 1 pick, we could have gotten more in return with an addition to AD, as opposed to just getting AD.
Yeah, of course.
That care package, basically.
Yeah.
And what I think will happen in the future, that core is going to develop, right? They're going to learn how to play with one another, and then New Orleans is going to end up being one of our main rivals.
I like the trade for New Orleans, like Sekani said, because they are stacked, in terms of young talent and young potential.
Yeah.
But with the cap space they have now, they also have the flexibility. So let's say if this iteration of the team doesn't work out, you still have cap space to move forward. You still have flexibility to move forward. If you don't want to keep Brandon Ingram, you don't have to. If you want to keep Lonzo, you don't have to. If those aren't the best pieces to build around a guy like Zion, you can do that. So I think they're in a great position right now. I kind of see them potentially being on an uptick similar to like the Denver Nuggets, where they've been quiet, they've been kind of to the ground with a lot of their moves and their development, and now they finally arrived.
Well, I think I was talking to the homie earlier today. When you look at what Toronto was able to pull off and winning the finals, they have Kawhi, they have Serge Ibaka, they have Marcus Gasol, they have, what's his name, Kyle Lowry, Pascal Siakam. I mean, Fred VanVleet. I'm saying all their names because, like, who would have thought these guys would win the finals, let alone in Toronto? And I think what's winning basketball is going to be not just good players. Well, I hope this is the future, and I hope this is what Nick Nurse is kind of like injecting into the game, is like systems win games. You know what I mean? If you would have start a team with any of those players, you might just pick Kawhi. I don't know who else you would start. I mean, maybe Marcus Gasol. Would you start a team with Kyle Lowry?
I mean,
like if you had to pick, if you could pick first, like your first pick.
Oh well, I mean, yeah, Kawhi's a top 5 talent.
So the point I'm trying to make is, hopefully we start moving into like not putting all of the best, because obviously it's not working in Houston.
I mean, one thing more so style of play than personnel, but that's a whole nother issue too.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what it should be. Just because Spurs, remember when the Spurs beat the Miami Heat? On paper, the Miami Heat were supposed to win that game, technically, right?
Yeah, I mean,
on paper, but it didn't happen that way.
Right.
So,
yeah,
I feel like Toronto's like an outlier this season, and nobody. I mean, who predicted them to win? I didn't. I definitely didn't win.
I did.
You did?
Yeah, I said Raptors in 6 if KD didn't play. And
I'm talking about
Raptors
at the beginning of the season.
Oh, in the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, I didn't know what they were going to be either, though. If I would have seen how they played, I might have gone with them. But, it's whatever, though. They had a heck of a season.
They did. Shout outs to them.
Yeah, shout out to the Raptors. Real quick, do you think now with AD being with the Lakers that they are the favorites to win the title?
I'll go ahead and say I don't think that makes us the favorite. I think that makes us, I think that makes us the favorite to get out of the West. Yeah, at bare minimum, because you could put Rondo, right? Re-sign Rondo. Be like, Rondo, don't turn over the ball. Just don't turn over the ball and like pass it to like, the open man, and we could make it to like out of the West. I think with that cast, or at least be top 3 and make it to we're making the playoffs. There's no.
Oh well, they better if not.
Barring I keep saying barring no injury.
Yeah.
Knock on wood, but there's just no way that team is not gonna make it.
Right.
Well, they have to be.
Well,
He's coming out the West.
That's what I said. That's exactly what I said. Barring no injury, they will be at least top 3 in the West because of the current landscape of the West.
I'm going to refrain from making the Lakers the favorite to come out of the West until I find out what their actual completed team is going to be.
That's fair.
I feel like you have to give Houston the benefit of the doubt because
Ooh, and Frank Vogel's gonna be the coach, bro. I gotta go to a game.
yeah, you got to give Houston the benefit of the doubt because they were 2 games away from beating Golden State. And on top of that, they took Golden State to game 7 last year. Kind of seen on the court when we saw the way it played out, in the Western Conference semifinals against the Warriors. Chris Paul and James Harden were going back and forth a little bit, but reports have been coming out. There was a story, I believe, an ESPN article that came out either today or yesterday, detailing a little more information regarding the Rockets drama. They're saying that this relationship between James Harden and Chris Paul is unsalvageable. They say that Chris Paul wants to coach James Harden, and James Harden is like, dude, you can't even beat your own man, just let me play. And you kind of see that on the court. Obviously, Chris Paul was talking about, they need more ball movement and stuff like that, and James Harden isn't trying to hear any of that. So a lot of people think that one of them has to go. No one's going to trade James Harden, so that means Chris Paul has to go.
There's no way they trade James Harden.
Well, yeah, there's no
Could
way
you
that they
imagine?
trade James Harden.
Half of their fans wouldn't show up. Like you're gonna lose ticket sales. That would be, if I'm a business owner, solely because of that.
Right, but at the same time,
Yeah.
And merch sales.
Chris Paul doesn't have a desirable contract. You're talking about $40 million a year for a 34-year-old player.
And they just need to figure it out. They need to figure. If I'm James Harden, right? I think he's MVP still because they still haven't voted for whoever MVP is. They're gonna release that information when
next week.
Okay, so until next week, he's the best player, like says the league, and this is no secret. By his style of play alone, you can tell he's a bit of a selfish player. People have told Kobe this, like, for not passing and all this. He passes, but at the same time, that ISO ball is his bread and butter. He's not just going to go away from his bread and butter. They got him an MVP. So what do you do then? You just got to sit down as men. It's like, hey, we need to figure this out, bro. Like, we're this close. They're knocking on the door every year.
Yeah.
And somehow, some way, they manage to lose.
They're the Raptors of the West.
Yeah, they are.
Literally,
they are with more star power.
And so that would be my recommendation. Or who are you gonna bring in?
You would say more star
that?
power?
And between Chris Paul and James Harden over DeMar and Kyle Lowry?
I would say yes.
I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not talking about.
I'm thinking about like the team that just won.
Oh no! I'm not including Kawhi because that team actually won a championship. And that team actually made it to their destination, but the old Raptors didn't. The old Raptors are today's Rockets. Yeah.
For sure.
And it sucks because Chris Paul doesn't have any like credibility because he hasn't gone to a finals. He hasn't gone he's gone to a conference finals, hasn't he? Or no?
Well,
first time
with the Rockets. Yeah.
With the Rockets, right?
Last year.
So, but that was with him, so it's still no credibility. He's basically thinks like, bro, I'm carrying his team. What do you have to tell me that like I don't already know? Well, Chris Paul, he's not Chris Paul of old.
I've lately, like, I want to say the past 2 years, I've been hearing a lot more news about Chris Paul's character and how people just really aren't a fan of him.
I forgot about that. Heck of people said
makes me wonder.
He was a terrible teammate.
I can't speak on how he is, but I've just been hearing a lot more about his character and how people enjoy playing with him or how they don't enjoy playing with him.
So it's polarized. It's like it's on both sides.
Yeah, you have people who respect his basketball mind and enjoy being around a player who can break down the game like he does, but then also like just personality wise, they feel like he's not the coolest person to be around, and he can be like a bit brash and can like come off just in many ways, like you just said, Sid, like how how James Harden feels like he's being coached and isn't with that. You're not about to coach me when I've gone just as far as you have, and I've earned more accolades.
Right.
I think the Rockets should try to if it's not salvageable, obviously trade him. Who they should trade him for is then the next big question. If they could get Kemba, get rid of Chris Paul's contract, but that's not an easy contract to get rid of, as you said. Yeah, that's tough. That is tough.
That's what I said. They just need to figure it out.
Yeah, I would like to see this Rockets team go against
the Lakers.
And also, I want to see what Devs come back with next year, because it's not like they were just trash. Denver.
Oh yeah, Denver was a tough team. I mean,
exactly.
I think if let's say Jokic hits the gym hard, I don't know who gonna get him in the gym, but I mean, if he hits the gym hard and he's able to run, he's able to like go those extra games and like take on
Anthony
that workload.
Davis.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Anthony Davis
with no bounce,
yeah.
with zero bounce. Who says that all the time? Or couldn't jump over a paper clip.
I can't remember.
Bruh, I saw him like literally at the rim and he laid it in. I'm like, bro, if you don't dunk that.
Yeah. I mean, Brandon, I think you're right. I think they do have to work it out just because of their circumstance, but nobody's arguing or no one's talking about how Chris Paul actually has a point. The reason Chris Paul has a point.
Oh, he does.
He does. Yeah. He absolutely does.
Yeah, Chris Paul has a point. And it's not even just
the ball
about,
sticks.
Yeah, and it's more about when you think about watching the Rockets play, if you watch them, throughout the season, throughout the playoff, when they're the most dangerous is in pick and roll. Pick and roll with Capella. Because they always either lob to Capella or the defense seeks in because they're trying to prevent that lob, kick it out to, Eric Gordon, PJ Tucker, Austin Rivers, whoever. So that's really been their most lethal play, and none of that happens when it's just not even pick and roll, just ISO with James Harden.
It's true. Or when you guard James Harden like Ricky Rubio, that's when they're most dangerous too.
Yeah, no, exactly. Most players in the league will be. But I mean, I think that they. What
was that? Did anybody ever ask him what kind of defense that was?
We'll see what happens with the Rockets, going down the road. But I think really they're limited, so they're in a position where they just gotta figure it out. Come together for one more year, win a championship, and then go break up from there. So speaking of breaking up, you look at the two-time Eastern Conference finalist participants, the Boston Celtics. So, I mean, just what a heck of a ride they've had throughout their past couple seasons. Obviously, you had that team that made it to the Eastern Conference Finals with IT. You flip him for Kyrie. Kyrie misses the playoffs, and you then make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, and you still make it there, right? Exactly. And now, disappointing postseason. Getting knocked out against the Bucks. Kyrie has to be gone, just with what's transpired throughout the whole entire season. You have reports now that he's practically ghosted the Celtics.
Wow, really?
Very little communication, since the off season. All signs are pointing to Brooklyn for him. But also now you have Al Horford, who originally declined his player option, and he was in talks with the Celtics to sign a 4-year deal or sign a 3-year deal. But now that's off the table. So now he's expected to sign elsewhere. So is this the end of the Celtics as we know them? And if so, can the Celtics still, compete in the loaded Eastern Conference right now?
No, I wouldn't say they're out of the race. I mean, if you just take away Kyrie, you can add, Kemba.
But Horford's gone too.
Oh, well.
I think Horford's more important than Kyrie, almost.
Well,
to make the argument.
I would say,
well, that team just got younger, didn't it? It got pretty. It was who's on that squad? Jaylen Brown.
Brown, Jason Tatum, Terry Rozier.
But Rozier's a free agent.
Yeah, he's a restricted free agent, I believe. Yeah.
Oh, restricted. Okay.
Lakers. No.
Yeah, Marcus Smart.
Yes, we want everybody.
Yeah,
we actually need a guard, so.
Yeah. Well, you're gonna have to overpay for him.
Probably.
Yeah. I think this is the end of the Celtics as we know them. I think now they're going to find themselves, if they don't make any major changes or if they're not able to retain Kyrie somehow, they're going to find themselves being a middle of the road 3, 4, 5, seed in the East playoff team. They'll be a perennial playoff team just because of coaching and just of the talent that they have right now. But I don't see them winning a championship without these two core players.
I see them very much as like the Spurs of the Eastern Conference.
Always have their hat in the race, but
they're going to Yeah, I
Doesn't quite
trust
get it
Brad
done.
Stevens' coaching to get them to the playoffs, but I feel like the talent around, like, just their talent is not going to be able to cut it once they get deep. They have the talent, but I just don't think it's developed enough to really make the noise that they would need to make. But shoot, if this team is still together in 3 years with this young core, oh my God, it's very Golden State-esque. The projection. Sorry, not projections, but the ceiling for them. I would like to see that, but I think we know that's not. It's just not going to happen.
Right.
So what do they do now? Do they trade for talent since the free agents are dipping? Or
I don't know how much cap space they're going to have with Horford and Kyrie falling off the books, but they should have some, because that's over $50 million of cap that you had designated to them. So I think that they're going to have some money to spend, assuming those two don't come back and they need to move on. I'm just not sure of where they go from here. And I think Brad Stevens has something to prove as well. He's a great coach, and I think we all know that. But look at all of the teams he's coached, all the successful teams he's coached. They've had little to no ego. This year they struggled. Yeah, they were fourth in the East, but this is the first time he had to deal with true egos. Kyrie is his own enigma. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown have had success in the NBA now, so they feel like they deserve some more touches. You got to deal with.
Yeah.
You have to deal with Gordon Hayward's ego now, because how are you going to tell Gordon Hayward you're only going to play 15 minutes a game, even if he needed to?
Yeah.
That's tough.
Terry Rozier's ego. Marcus Smart can have an ego. So
I think it's because
it's a battle.
A lot of people a lot of guys on that team think they're the best player,
or that they have the potential to be the best player.
Yeah,
so it's tough.
It makes it competitive. It makes it competitive, which is good. It creates that kind of culture, but you have to be careful with that, because when there's no clear cut best player on a team, then there's a lot of Chiefs and not enough Indians. So with LeBron, everybody knows he's the best player on the team. Now, with the addition to Anthony Davis, is there going to be some issues there? We don't know. But it's not the same way with, if you add, the team that just won, Kawhi is obviously the best player. There's no issues on that team. So it can be done. You just have to have the right people.
No, it can be done. I'm just afraid of them getting lost in this tough Eastern Conference right now, assuming that Milwaukee stays pat. Toronto, if Kawhi's back, even if he's not back, they're still one of the better teams in the East. Philly, obviously, even if they were to lose, one or two pieces just with that, duo of Embiid and Simmons, they're going to be a problem. Indiana, you can't sleep on once they get Oladipo back as well.
Man.
So they are at risk of getting lost in the shuffle and being one of those middle of the road playoff teams where they might make it 2 rounds and that's about it. So before we move on, Celtics, are we all in agreement that Kyrie's gone?
Yeah. I believe he is.
If the situation is that bad, then yeah, he's gone.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure Al Horford's going to be gone. If he can't agree on a 3-year deal with the Celtics, I think he's not gone, but he'll definitely test the market. And if he doesn't get what he wants, he'll come back. But
where should he look? Who should be shopping for Al Horford? Who needs a power forward / center / great teammate, I think. I don't know. He seems like he would be.
How much better would a team like the Clippers be with Al Horford?
The Clippers are not winning a championship.
Well, maybe not winning a championship, but there aren't contenders that have cap space right now. There really aren't.
Do the Pacers have?
The Pacers do have some cap space,
but who would they need to get rid of?
I don't know if they need to get rid of anyone, and I don't know if I know they like Miles Turner too.
But
so
how
I don't know
good?
If they're willing to let Miles Turner
how good are Indiana gonna get though with Miles Turner with Oladipo? I say he has better chances staying on Boston squad and hoping Boston brings some more talent their way, because
he could find himself going to Brooklyn. If Brooklyn doesn't land
Brooklyn
a big
sounds
free agent,
interesting.
or if Kyrie even goes, they could sign
So both of them
Al
leave.
Horford.
See, nobody's talking about that either. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
'Cause
They both decide
mean,
to go somewhere.
Right, because I mean, I like Jared Allen, but Jared Allen has a lower ceiling than Miles Turner does. I'd be more willing to move on from Jared Allen than I would Miles Turner for Al Horford for 3 years. I'll take that. But yes, I mean,
Do you want to play in Indiana?
I don't think Al Horford cares. He just wants to win rings.
Yeah.
I mean, he played in Atlanta for what, 10 years, almost.
I'd play in Atlanta.
After a certain point, I mean,
cities matter.
You want to. Exactly. After you've been in the league for 10 years, it's like, all right, but I want to go where I can have the best opportunity to win.
So last thing we got before we get out of here, we got the poll question from our last episode. I wish Carl was here to hear this because he's the one that was so adamant about this topic. So he talked about America's team. Yeah, he talked about America's team
that.
And how he feels like he should have the right to vote for who's America's team. So the results came in. Should the Cowboys remain America's team or should we vote? 20% said keep the Cowboys. 80% said nah, let's vote.
That's no surprise.
Most people are not Cowboys fans.
Facts.
So
yeah. I mean,
if it was your team,
if it was my team, I'd still say nah, let's vote. Personally,
I'm a Cowboys fan, and I mean, I don't really care about being America's team. I just want the team to be good, and like we're starting to develop. So,
Sekani, that's like the same thing you said. You honestly don't care about the moniker of America's team.
I don't. Like, I mean, the Patriots, to be real, is America's team because it's a patriot. We founded this country,
which is what Carl said.
Yeah, but I mean, America's team. What I feel like the reason why they're called America's team because I guess they embody some of like America's, characteristics, like the over the top, like super embellished, like the owner is the owner and the GM, and he has to have the biggest stadium ever, and it has to be the Super Bowl has to be there.
Well, they had that name before Jerry Jones.
Yeah.
Did they really?
Back in the 70s.
Yeah.
Well,
70s,
I don't know what to tell you then.
That name.
Yeah, but
it was.
We have some of the nicest colors, though. I will say that.
I'm sorry. As a Dallas Cowboys fan, our colors are trash.
What? I've always liked that navy
silver
blue
and blue.
Silver.
That's it.
It's a weird like metallic blue. It's kind of weird.
It's literally the opposite of the 49ers, and
Well, we got to get out of here. Thank y'all for tuning in. Make sure to follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Follow us on Instagram at FanCulturePod. Check us out on the Anchor app. Leave comments, participate in our polls. We want to hear from you guys. Let us know what you guys want to talk about.
And share the episodes with your friends, too. We definitely want to get more people listening, tuning in, trying to roll these out every week. So let us know what topics you want us to touch on in the future. We're always looking for new topics.
Yeah. And on top of that, if you're trying to be on an episode with us, hit us up. We might be able to work something out for you. Sekani, you got anything to add?
I appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Also, congratulations, Brandon, on getting engaged this past Saturday.
Yes, sir.
Yo, you bro.
I'll catch y'all next week.
Yeah, for sure. We're going to have Sekani here in person.
Like, subscribe.
In person, in the flesh.
Yes, I'm looking forward to finally recording in person, not being here in New York, spending some time back home. So, yeah, it's exciting.
For sure. We can't wait. All right, well, till next time, y'all. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.